Hot as a Bullet is such an intense, action-packed, really interesting drama. Was there something about the film or maybe working with Nick Cassavetes as a director that really drew you to be a part of this film?
I love Nick Cassavetes. This was the third movie we've done together, and if you count Blow, which he wrote, the fourth movie we've done together. And the thing that was interesting to me about this was I've played reprehensible people before, but there's always an attempt by me to uh infuse those reprehensible characters with some humanity. I think about it like, does that person think he's evil? Or most usually, or most often, the person I'm playing would think of himself as doing the right thing. We just happen to share or to have very different morals. And so the difference with this is, I think this guy wants to be evil. Like, his intention is sociopathic. And so to try to strip humanity from him was actually kind of a project, and that was interesting.
Yes, he is a deep follower of Cyrus. Was Nick able to give you much of a backstory of how Gutter got involved with this cult?
Yeah, we had long conversations about all of the dynamics going back for all of the different characters, and how, where they fit in, and was there a hierarchy, and who deferred to who, and who, we talked about all that quite a bit. And you know there was even possibly some, if Gutter loved anyone, it was Cyrus. And so everyone else was kind of inconsequential, and just what will that person do or provide for me. So there were a lot of interesting conversations, a lot of very dark conversations had before we were even shooting.
It's interesting you describe love because I don't know if Cyrus or anyone maybe in this cult are capable of love. I mean, sure, maybe there's some adoration there because he provides. Maybe I don't know what your discussion with Nick was, but he seems to be someone who rules with an iron fist, though, rather than with love.
Yeah, no, love might be too strong a word. Certainly in the way that I think about love, like loving my wife, loving my kids, it's certainly not the same. Um, if he was infatuated by, or adored, or had anything, the only person I think that Gutter didn't fantasize about killing was Cyrus. That's about as loving as Gutter got.
And he has Gutter has such a disdain for Case as well because she got away. She didn't want to be a part of this family anymore. Is that where Nick truly said that Gutter's animosity stems from between the two of them?
Yeah, and also just that she was the one that Cyrus seemed to be cutting some slack. Like, they don't cut anybody slack, but somehow we're not just killing Case. We could have killed her, we should have killed her, and we haven't. Why haven't we done that? Why are we breaking the rules for her? So there was a lot of animosity, and that, yes, this was all discussed, that maybe that Gutter didn't really like Case when she was around, and he's glad she's gone, but he would have preferred to have killed her.
I have to talk to you about Gutter's look. Was that something you had some input on? The beard, especially, I have to ask about.
The beard was all Nick. I had a beard at the time, but it certainly wasn't that long. I got some. I was able to put some input into the some of the tattoos, but just some of them, because Nick had a bunch that when we walked into the first tattoo meeting where he was like, I want you to have all of these, and you can pick a couple too. And so I picked some. I was uh we talked about my face tattoos the most. And I've been doing this for a while, and I've had tattoos put on and tattoos covered up. And the thing I was thinking about more than anything was like, how do I add long sleeve shirts to a lot of this so that I don't how do I go super minimal on the face tattoo so it's not, because that I know they're putting on every day no matter what, and that I wanted to be as simple as possible, you know just to save myself a little time if I could in the makeup seat every day.
There's an entirety of epicness to this film because it's a thrill ride, it's a heart rager, it's a heart pumper, it's all of these things in every single scene. Was there one that really stood out to you filming? One that you enjoyed maybe even filming the most?
I'll say two things. I'll say that my favorite and the one I hated. The one I hated was one of the very first scenes we shot where I had to become physical with a little girl. And I have four daughters. And now I even have a granddaughter. At the time, I just had four daughters. And we shot and shot and shot that sequence so much because Nick would come up to me after almost every take and go, I can see you being easy on her. You can't be easy on her. And she was this tough little Australian gal. And she would say, yeah, I'm tough. You can, really, you know, uh, you got to make it look real. And she was like getting annoyed with me because we kept having to do it. And I didn't want to hurt her. Like I was having a lot of trouble doing what I had to do to make it look like I was hurting her. And so that was truly the hardest thing. One of the hardest things I've ever had to shoot because I so didn't want to hurt her that you could see it. And I had to look like I really wanted to hurt her. And then towards the end, I had another thing to shoot with her. I don't want to say exactly what happens, but at some point, I'm chasing her through this like pipe, you know, and I thought that it was the absolute coolest I've ever looked. I just thought I looked so tough and so scary, and I don't tend to watch stuff that I'm in because I'm very hypercritical of myself. And Nick showed me one image of me with my arms up grabbing the top of this hole where I'm bending down to like say I'm coming to get you. And I just thought that might be the coolest I've ever looked in my whole life. And I showed my youngest daughter just an image. She's 16, so it's not like I'm showing a little kid this image. I showed her a picture of myself there, and she said, my God, Dad, you're an actual demon. And I thought, yeah, I really am. I did it. I'm pulling it off.
I was gonna say, well, the shirt you're wearing now is pretty prophetic as well.
Yes. Yes.
What is it about working with Nick Cassavetes that just makes it such an enjoyable experience for you?
I think Nick, who's a damn fine actor, really knows how to communicate with actors. There's that. He also has such wonderful artistic integrity. So you go in to do something with Nick, you know that he's not going to half-ass it. He's not going to cut corners. He's not going to bow to anybody saying we could do this more cheaply, or we could get a better rating with the MPAA if we cut this bit out. He is going to make something brutal and savage and honest and entertaining and wonderful. And he's going to have conversations with you while you're doing it that really communicate. I think sometimes somebody will have an idea in their head and it's hard for them to take that idea and put it in my head. Um, and Nick doesn't seem to have that issue. He can take his concept and say it to me, and I really get what he's saying quickly, and I'm able to follow orders from him. Working with Nick is utter pleasure for me.
What's next for you then? Have you been busy working on more films? Any TV series you have coming up?
I do have a TV series coming up. I've been asked by Amazon not to talk about my TV series. But I play a very nice person in that. It's a comedy, uh, and I've got a few movies coming out. I just shot one with Stavros Halkias and Bobby Kelly, two of my absolute favorite comedians, and I got to play Stavros's brother and Bobby's son, and Bobby's only 5 years older than me, so it was really fun to rub that in his face. And that movie will be very funny. That's called Exit Statement. I have no idea when that'll come out. We literally just shot it.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible work you do on our screens? You seamlessly blend comedy and drama. We really invest in both of those genres that you find yourself in all the time.
Yeah, well, I hope that I scare the shit out of you, if we're allowed to say that four-letter word, and that you can forgive me for it.